Hey there, Goa fans. This is Mark, DJ Solitaire here with episode 72 of Retro Goa Explorations, my weekly series in which I share in every episode one of my favorite tracks from the 1990s Goa Trance psychedelic dance movement. So we are covering tracks that I first came across in the autumn 96 through to the summer of 97. And this particular track I first got my grubby little hands on. In that period, my recollection is August of 97. I have all of my dates kind of chronological. I decided that was the most logical organizing principle at the time. And my recollection is that it was in August 97. It might have been a touch earlier. Uh, and it was only released a year later. And this was a big deal to be able to get this track and another one from the same artist, because this is one of the biggest artists in the scene. And it was in a DAT trade with Crispo from Medicine Drum, and who's also a DJ with Return to the Source. Fabulous fellow who I think I probably first met when I went in May 97 to Japan for a Return to the Source party at Mount Fuji that was just like one of the all-time great events. I might need to do some videos talking about some of these events because I mean this was really something. I knew a lot of the Return to the Source crew. I might have met him before that, but we all really bonded because, I'd been on sort of a soapbox about the Japanese party vibes, and it really came through at this event. Some of the other, I'm not saying him, but, some of the other crusty uh, British folks who are sort of, a little bit, this is just a club, this is just this, were like observing the nature and the grandeur and magic of what was happening. It's like, oh, wow, maybe there is something spiritual about this after all. The party got written up in Mix Mag, which was, a very clubby magazine as well. It was kind of saying the same thing. I think it was Mix Mag. It was one of those really big magazines, but I digress. So I met Crispo, sort of, so would see him at Return to the Source and so on. And we had a DAT trading session, my recollection being my dad's being in the basement, a little inaccessible at the moment. Uh, my recollection being that it was August 97. And Crispo was a very generous trader. Some people would just sort of, I'm only going to trade special tracks for special tracks. He was just like, you just take whatever you want. I'm happy to take whatever you offer. And it was, and he offered me two tracks by Man with No Name that were unpublished at the time. And I was like, what? And I mean, they're blinding. There was Zest, and then there was the one that I'm going to feature today, which is Tarantula. And these only came out in 98, and I didn't look up the month, but I was living back in Japan at the time. This is the Japanese edition of the CD, which also includes a track that was not issued on the international release, and it's another killer. So we'll get to that one next season, I think. But Tarantula, I mean, this is just such a track. There is so much going on. It is really powerful, really mind-bending, absolutely has so many emotions, so much going on. Man with No Name is largely known for his very uplifting, very anthemic, broad melodies and, super cheerful stuff. And this, a little bit of a variation. It's got its uplifting stuff, but oh my gosh, this just absolutely is mind-blowing, mind-bending, completely psychedelic, otherworldly, like chaos. It's really something. And at the time, I got some of my DJ practice at there was a Daniel Poole shop in Soho where they had a hair salon and clothing and some other stuff going on there. And they had a giant DJ booth that was set up by Newmark, and there's this giant Newmark behind there. And so she came in with me once. He's like, "Oh, Newmark, that's you, haha." And so I used to play there every week because it was just an opportunity to play out and sort of not just be in my bedroom, but sort of be a bedroom DJ in a salon. And I played this track, uh, at one point, soon after I got it. And this Brazilian woman comes running up to me who was in town for a party that she was going to be attending. She's like, "What is this track? Oh my God, I've never heard anything like this." She was just completely going wild. And I was like, "Yeah, it's a pretty good track." And the more I listen to this, I mean, the more I'm just like, this is just one of the all-time great psychedelic alien voices folding out of tin foil, multi-dimensional tracks out there. She ended up booking me 2 years later when I was coming back from Soul Lips in '99. She ran a club in Zurich. And so I played there. And then the next day we went and saw The Matrix. You know, her husband, and me, and of course we got our minds blown with that. But I digress. Lots of stories, but they're all digressions. Let's check out this story because I mean, Tarantula is just, really, it's one of the corkers. It's one of the it's a popular British expression for a killer. One of the all-time great tracks. Here we go. Tarantula by Man with No Name. That Morse code kind of bass line. And sort of one note. It's got a little bit of a guttural kind of sort of gnarly, sort of cigarette smoking sort of raspy voice. And then here we have that feel-good kind of like thing we expect from Man with No Name. Cool and bouncy and sweet. And again, everything sounds like voices, right? And that's got a bit of more of a, traditional clubby feel. The track is not going to go in that direction at all. Hi-hats. So there's something quite deceptive about this in a way, because right, it sounds just, happy, cheery, right? Nice and groovy, but this just gets completely twisted. Listen to that pattern. Little break. Right, so it's still light in texture, right? And it's got some bouncy numbers, right? And these cool figurations going around. That voice comes in. It's a little call and answer. Right, another round of this. The stuff that's just consistent all the way through. And now the mind-bending voices start coming in. It's like this inquisitive alien that's kind of asking what's going on. What I love is the inflection and the shaping. I think a lot of people do voices, but the shaping doesn't really mimic human speech, but this does. And so when we hear it more clearly, we have those almost like airplane sounds in the background, this sort of helicopter. And then we shift gears, get into this other loop. Just seamless, right? The rhythm continues. This is how you do a break, folks. That strong kick. And again, that gnarly kind of sound that we've got here. And then those upper frequencies that open up, right? Like those hi-hats really do more than just provide rhythm. The whole frequency shift. There's going to be so many builds in this track. And then, again, quite alien, a little, clubby, so to speak, like sort of regular techno or trance, but no, so much deeper. Really great crossover in that way, right? Because you think it's just going to be like it's a cheery, trancey, techno kind of track, but listen to this. With percussion and those wobbles. Just that chaos that's going on up there. Just clears. And we're back in this deceptively cheerful stuff. That rhythm starts to take on a different quality, a little bit more insistent. With that guttural bounce. And then that. Notice the rhythm. Again. It's a little bit more muted in the background, but that comes forward a little bit. And the build up. This is just like the skies open. And like alien voices folding out of tinfoil. Love again the inflection, the rhythm, the whole thing. And then this wonderful beautiful slides. Just a little bit of drama. And then check out these alien voices here. And then we get a little bit more of the bounce with this. This all becomes completely geometric when on a big system. And now, again, yet another insane explosion. Then it just starts to pull back. With those key rhythmic riffs. And then the slide. So you can imagine when, I get that on DAT, and I'm just like, what the heck did I just get given? Like, what is this completely otherworldly, other dimensional, like, you know, alien infused message. I was just completely flabbergasted, and I still am. This track still continues to blow my mind because it's just got, something that I've mentioned before. We have the blend of emotions, right? Where I think the human condition, spiritual condition as well, but as having that human experience where we've got these pesky emotions that we can be full of, where we can have a real range and a combination of emotions, right? It's not just happy or sad or whatever. And where I think the best of the Goa music has, some darker and happier undertones, which is something, by the way, that you do hear in classical music. Very common with Mozart and Schubert, also with Beethoven, but particularly them. Schumann as well, where a lot of the time you'll have something that sounds happy and it's like, there's a really dark kind of undertone here as well. So you sort of have that combination of innocence and there's a bit of angst and Weltschmerz, the sort of pain of the world that's in there. And this is one of the reasons why I think Goa, music, the best of it can be really transformational. When it's not just happy, happy or dark, dark, but it's really got a blend. So that's the stuff that I tend to go for. And this one, right, really has that. It's got that bounce, it's got the rhythm, it's got those sort of, bouncy, happy sort of, kind of things. And then your head gets completely blown off by these, alien voices folding out of tinfoil in some sort of upper dimension that's just kind of like, breaking through the fabric of our particular reality for a little bit. I played that one at ZNA in 2022, and I think the place kind of exploded as it's explosive environment. And I was telling Martin as well, it's just like for me, it's that's just one of the all-time greats. Of course, I love, there's all the other, uplifting stuff from 94 and 95, but again, this one, the combination of elements for me makes this just again one of my all-time favorites, which will continue to be in my playlist anytime I'm doing a retro set because blows the lid off the party and most people's crown chakras. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed it. I will sign off here to present you with the whole track. So I'm Mark, DJ Solitaire, wrapping up episode 72 of Retro Goa Explorations and leaving you now with Man with No Name's absolute masterpiece, Tarantula.